So here we have one of the now many criminal degenerates associated with the Trump orbit. This guy goes back to the 2016 campaign and then to the early months of the Trump administration before he was let go by Trump fairly unceremoniously and with a lot of acrimony. And it appeared as though he would fade into the background, but he didn't. He returned back. Trump always accepts those who continue to follow his ways, regardless of their morality or anything else. And then, more recently, he got himself caught up in the January 6th investigation. He was subpoenaed. He refused to obey the subpoena, so he was indicted, and then in court, lost the case, and now is due to be sentenced October 21st. That's not a good date, not a good period, because Saturn is stationing right around that time, and it's pretty close to his natal Venus, which is never a good thing. You want Saturn as far away from your planets as possible when some kind of accountability might be in the air. So that's not good. But probably even more problematic is the fact that he engaged in a pretty vile scam back in 2020, claiming he was raising money to build a wall, and then proceeded to spend the money on other things, which is against the law. So he was charged in 2020, but Trump saw fit, as he always does, to do the right thing and pardoned him of the federal charges. However, now New York State charged them again with the very same thing. And now there is no pardon possible because it's a state charge. Now, what is dangerous about this for Banon is that these kinds of crimes usually are pretty easy to prove. There'll be paperwork trails, probably messages, the follow the money adage. So it's pretty dangerous. And you can see by looking ahead why it's dangerous, because he's an early Sagittarius, 5+ degrees, and this is where Saturn is going in 2023. It's going to roam those degrees throughout the year, starts in May, catches up to the degrees, goes a little beyond, comes back, and pretty much until the following spring, maybe February, but really you could count it all the way to March. So about a year, which is plenty of runway for him to get himself in pretty serious trouble with the law. Now, first of all, his time is questionable. There is no official sense anywhere of an actual verified birth time. I've used this 9:30 p.m. It's a time that is floating around out there as a possibility. And even though unverified, in one sense, it feels pretty good. He has the kind of look of a Leo rising, the look and the behavior and the demeanor, all of that is Leo rising with Sagittarius Sun ruling, fits quite nicely. But counterpoint to that is that the moon in Virgo doesn't really fit him very well on account of his often disheveled and even, some will say, unhygienic appearance. There will be exceptions though, so perhaps it's still possible that he does have the moon in Virgo and he's simply manifesting it in a completely different way. But if it is the moon in Virgo and the time is anywhere near evening, 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 10, then the moon is in Virgo, and then what happens is the Saturn is hitting both the sun and the moon, which immediately makes it more complicated for him. But if not, the sun is more than sufficient in terms of what he's likely to face. I don't get the feeling from this chart that he is in anywhere near the same trouble or the same level of trouble as, the Mar-a-Lago malevolent degenerate. His is a different order of magnitude. A lot more planets, a lot more time. But there's enough here for Banon to get in plenty of trouble. And let's not underestimate the possibility that he, among many, might prove to be someone that in some way would help the Department of Justice take down Trump, because that's what the Justice Department will always do, is work with people on lower levels to get information on the bigger fish. And on that, I would say I would be quite happy to see that. No doubt about it.